Can I ask you for a favor? Could you find for me 2 of those tiny rectangular cushions? Thank you. Yeah, I realized that this one's, I'm like a princess today. One's not, another one too, thank you. I'm gonna trade. Thank you. Testing. Hello? Good, okay. We'll just wait about a minute or 2 more. So I think many of you have this little prayer card in front of you. It has 2 sides to it. The shorter side is what we're going to say in the beginning, and the second side is what we do at the end of this talk today. I always like to begin, before we get into anything else, to thank you all for being here. But if in any time you get bored or find that you're uncomfortable with what I'm talking about, or if you have somewhere to go, or if you need to use the restroom, or if you're hungry and there's food downstairs, or if you want to sit in on the beginning meditation class, which is run by, I believe Marilyn's teaching it today on compassion. Oh, Kashmira is here. What is she teaching on? I thought it was, don't look it up. So we have an 8 to 9 week beginning Buddhism course, and it restarts itself every couple of months. And you can plug in on any time to go to that rather than this class. So I just want to give you those options. Though I think the last time I taught, 4 people walked down instantly. But I think after my first sentence, but that's okay. I can deal with that. No, I'm joking. So let's first do this prayer called the Refuge Prayer. This is a prayer that once you become Buddhist, we say this daily. And we often say it with our hands in prayer mudra. So we hold our hands not flat, but as if we have a jewel between our 2 hands and somewhere near our heart center. And usually the person leading just hits a note. Hopefully I hit the right note, and then we can start. Don't worry about what you sound like. No one's here to judge. Om Sanjay Chodan Soki Chodnamla Jancho Bardu Dani Gyatsuchi Dagi Jinso Kipe Sonamki Drola Benshir Sanjay Druparshok. And of course, we do everything 3 times, it seems. So let's do it in English this time. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the assembly most excellent, I take refuge until I reach enlightenment. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I achieve enlightenment for the sake of all beings. Let's do it one more time in English. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the assembly most excellent, I take refuge until I reach enlightenment. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I achieve enlightenment for the sake of all beings. Thank you. So now you can just put the card down, and preferably not on the bare floor because we have cushions. Thank you, because it's considered sacred. Thank you. So let's just take a moment, get out all of our tension, check your posture, and let's just, your eyes gently open, and let's just breathe naturally on your own for about a minute. Don't hold your breath, just breathe. Let go of everything. Untighten your body. Oh, my favorite exercise. Let's for one moment sit up super straight, really stretch, and then just drop it. Let's do that again. Tighten, and then loosen. Good. Oh, and welcome to everybody online. So I hope everyone at home is just relaxing for a moment. Thank you, everyone. So today's talk is something that's near and dear to my heart. I was going to do something else, but I couldn't get rid of this one. I called it dealing with people that drive you crazy, including yourself, or dealing with circumstances that you can't control, including people. And today, this is just a very light touch into this subject. I don't want it to be heavy psychologically involved. We're not talking about people that are abusing you heavily or anything. We're only talking about the little habits that other people do that kind of tend to drive us up the wall. And I was watching a lot of videos on this. Normally I like my talk to be very organized, and this is not. All right, I love it. Oh, that's great. That was like the best example. Thank you. I'll send you the check later. So Pema Chodron, who's a wonderful authoress and a nun that writes incredible books around all these topics we don't want to talk about. She gave an example, and this is a little off topic, but I thought it's perfect, of what our meditation is often like, depending on your personality type. Oh, that person in front of me is too tall, I can't see the Buddha. Oh, it's too hot in here. I really should be home watching a good movie. I wonder what the kids are doing. I'm really uncomfortable. Why am I here? Do any of you have any of those type of thoughts while you're meditating, or are you all holy? And if you don't, you can just leave right now. Recently, and I know one person here was at the retreat I was at, Doug back there. Thank you for driving, Doug. That was a great trip. Recently, I was at a group retreat in upstate New York at our mothership, our mother monastery, called Karma Triana Dharma Chakra, above the town of Woodstock. And it was a pretty intense practice, but maybe the hardest thing was all the people there, all the people in the shrine room, all the people at lunch. I recently was had an unusual health event, got really sick, and was in the hospital. And so and I work as a night chaplain, so it tells you how sociable I am. I'm kind of a late night person. So being around all that many people really stressed me a little bit. And I noticed I was much snappier on my retorts. And because we had so much time to meditate, I really had a nice snapshot of my mind, which was sort of similar to what I said. You know, someone in front of me was moving a lot. I think I'm sensitive to perfume. So someone in front of me sat down the second day wearing something like a really strong type of beignet. And in the old days, I would have gotten up and moved. But this time I thought, oh, this is great. This is going to be my meditation. Then they moved, so I didn't get to work with it. But I think we have to realize in our lives, we like to have contentment, we like comfort, and we all like things a certain way. And when we sit here and meditate on Sundays or whenever you meditate at home, maybe during that time, you don't notice all that because you're often alone, except here on Sunday. But when you're with a group of people, it's a wonderful event to start being challenged by things that bother you that you might not even have been aware of. And in order to become awakened Buddhists, which is our goal, as even the prayer said for today, we need to be challenged. And we need one another that's driving us crazy to challenge us, because you are a reflection of how our mind is. And if you don't see it that way, then you're going to really suffer. So I thought I would just go through a few things. So first, I'd like to share a story about Lord Atisha. Is anyone familiar with the Bengali beggar boy? Sorry, the Bengali tea boy? So Atisha was a famous Buddhist master from India that went into Tibet around the year 1000, a current era, 1000 AD. And he was just a famous practitioner. And what did he practice? Mostly compassion practices, mostly working with Mahayana, working with developing a heart of enlightenment and love for all living beings. And the only way he could do that was normally a high teacher has an attendant that will help them, will carry their luggage or whatever, will help serve them here and there. And he had a whole team that was really raring to go, but he said, wait, I heard the people in Tibet are very nice. That's where he was going. So I think I really need to have someone who really irritates me. So we're gonna use my attendant. And now, Atisha was from Bengal, but this attendant is called the Bengali tea boy. And I think we all have this person in our life that drives us utterly crazy. But instead of looking at that way, he looked at it as a wonderful expression of diversity, of variety, of how this person looked at the world, how this person treated one another, which was not what we would call very kind. But Atisha needed that as a reminder of how his own mind, how did he react to that? Was he calm, loving, patient, accepting, or was he judging him the whole time? So in your life, you might have a couple of Bengali tea boys or tea girls or American whatever. But I think it's important to really remind yourself that this is not unusual. In most monasteries, I was told that, I won't use the teacher's name, but a very famous teacher in our current era, he looked for the biggest troublemaker in a monastery to be his attendant. And attendants are people that are the interface. So that's the person you've got to go to before you see the teacher. This is the person that sets up the schedule, the person that will tell you what the teacher likes and doesn't like for food if you're cooking for the teacher. So this is a really important teacher. And a lot of teachers really like it if the person's really rough and uncut and drives people crazy. So I've met up with several of these people, and you have to you've got to calm down. You've got to realize and of course, going back to Atisha, everyone said, don't take that guy with you. He's terrible. And so, of course, he went to Tibet, and the Tibetans loved the story because when he got to Tibet, the people were not so nice. They were very rough and tumbly and very rude and direct, which is, some people don't like it that way. And so he didn't need the Bengali tea boy, but he had him anyway. So I hope in your lives that you meet up with one and you honor them and respect them. And I'm grateful to this situation. So I think before I go on, does anyone have anyone uncomfortable in their life? Or do they tend to be, maybe a better word is, do you see things from that lens instead of seeing this as a wonderful person? Does anyone ever have any? So of course it could be in a marriage, that's a challenge. You gotta work that one out pretty quick, or in a relationship. But particularly at work, of course, that's another really big challenge. I've told this story many times. I was in a program trained as a chaplain, and the first day, so when you're trained as a hospital chaplain, you're there for a year, everyone looks and watches, the whole department is just watching you, because you're the new person in town. There's usually about 5 to 8 of them. And I remember day one, a woman told me I didn't deserve to be in the program because I wasn't Christian. And she went through a kind of actually she had some really good points. I did not have a master's. I was not trained in psychology. She was brilliant. So, but it was really, the way she delivered it was pretty big punch. And I was one of the few times I couldn't say anything. And I was in a closed room with 4 other people. My teachers said, oh, do you have anything to say? I couldn't say a word. I was afraid I'd break every one of my Buddhist vows, because we take vows to try and have a kind speech, etc. And I didn't know this person well enough to see what she brought to the table, but in the end, she did this to every one of us, all the other students. She was one of the students. And we all grew because of what she had done to us, because then we understood she was suffering terribly. But it took a moment. I went home and I did the practice I'm teaching you today. And my husband asked what was wrong, and I said, I'm working on something. So he knows that means it's pretty intense if I don't want to talk to him about it. Because we weren't supposed to talk to anyone about this. So I had to rely on our incredible tool belt as Buddhists. We have so many tools to calm your mind, to deal with people like this. And with this, not only is there a meditation practice, we have a lot of slogans that are very useful to really contemplate on. So I'm going to review a little bit of that today. So does anyone want to make any comments about anything that bothers them? So, anyone? Wait, let me put my glasses on so I can hear you. With all the other so just for the people at home, this gentleman, what's your first name? Charlie said that he's in a band, and is the other band members drive you crazy? How are they difficult?
Well, they have certain psychological conditions that when they're not fully engaged or when they like the medication on, it's temporal. It wanes at very soon.
Oh.
And when it's waning, they have they're delusional and slightly paranoid.
So how do you deal with that?
Well, having psychiatric conditions myself, I look at that and go, well, I've been difficult to work with in bands before too. So I feel like it's kind of like karma burn in a way, and it's a way for me to learn how I impact other people, not to be narcissistic about it.
Could you speak up just a little bit more?
It's a way for me.
Is there a mic? Is the mic on already? Oh, could you go up to the mic? This is a great conversation. Sorry to put you on the...
No, it's quite all right. My name's Charlie, by the way. I forgot
Charlie.
what my Buddhist name is.
So the question was, how do you deal with when the other people you're working with are going through these personality changes?
Yeah, it's when you're working with someone in a situation, in this case, like a band. There's other situations at work, but in my personal life too. But then I'm like, but it's illuminating because it's like, well, gee, this is how I must frustrate other people too. And you move from like being the person that identifies other people as being the problem, and you realize, oh, I can be a problem at work, or I can be difficult to be with in social situations too. So there's times frequently where I just want to quit working with the person, but then I'm like, no, this is actually good because it's teaching me to have compassion and understanding, and also, more importantly, I think, see how my own issues impact other people too.
Maybe you should teach the class. That was excellent. Thank you so much for sharing some of your problems.
Yeah. But I said it's kind of like karma burn a little bit.
Kind of like what?
Karma burn, like Mahakala, is manifested in my life in the form of Jack.
So he's mentioning a very ferocious deity in our lineage.
Yeah, it's the wrathful form of Chinrezig.
Oh, right. Thank you. Anyone else before we go on?
I'm a middle school teacher.
Oh my, that's it. Okay, he wins. Wait. You can't. You've got to have some tips how you survive. That might help us.
First, realize that these guys are all 11, 12, 13 years old, and their brains, their body, every cell in them right now in that time of their life is telling them to get up, move around, run, jump, just be in everything constantly. And it's always important for me to remember that, hold on, we've mandated that they be in an environment 8 hours a day where we tell them to sit down and shut up.
Yeah.
This is not a good thing.
Not natural.
No, it is not natural. So I always make sure that, you know, they are engaged in something interesting, something that will at least get them thinking and get them working together, you know, problem solving and such, and not talking too much, because nobody wants to hear a 57-year-old guy talk for 45 minutes. They just don't. And, you know, give them something that they can sink their teeth into, or at least know that if we're having a boring day, like, guys, I'm sorry, this is note-taking day, but let them know that this is all playing into something that will be interesting and engaging and fun later on. So that's a
Nice.
little bit of it.
Thank you for sharing. That's
Yeah.
really great. I don't know if anyone can top that. These are great. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about some of our tools, which I think several places where I read, people really talked about how we deal with other people. I think the most important thing is listening, which is what both of you demonstrated. I didn't think this was going to become a chaplain thing, but it kind of is. We're taught, which is very hard for me as a chaplain, because I'm very chatty when I'm one-on-one with people. We're taught to be very quiet and to listen well, and maybe just ask a few questions around if someone's very sick or having a really rough day. So for some reason, I'm not bothered by people there, but I'm bothered by my peers and me when I am challenged by someone I know that's not very skillful or maybe a little hurtful and that probably doesn't even know it. So over time, I've learned to sometimes have a one-on-one with them just to say, you know, this kind of hurts a little bit. Is there anything I did to cause this? Or I try and have an open conversation, but to listen more than talk. And I'm always amazed what comes out of their mouth. It'll be something I would never have expected at all. Maybe their medication changed. Maybe they lost a job and didn't want to tell anyone because they were afraid that they would lose face. Maybe they're having a hard time at home, you know, with their loved ones. Or maybe someone's very sick in their life. And so, as a Buddhist, not only should we be listening, but we should also put ourselves into their situation. Try and be curious. Why are they this way? Maybe you'll never know. That's the other thing. So we have up close and personal practices. Then we have some where maybe we don't want to get that close, but we can do things like Tonglen, which we're going to talk about, and work with slogans and other things. So, but first and foremost, I think it's important that all of you learn how to meditate well. Shamatha, have most of you taken the Shamatha class that's offered here? We have a class every Sunday at 10 a.m. on how to learn meditation. It's also a class about the center. Shamatha meditation is called calm abiding, where we sit the body in a nice, somewhat straight but not rigid position, and then we follow the breath. And it has a very deep calming effect on the mind. Has anyone not learned that before? So most of you have all learned it. Do all of you practice it a little bit at home? I see one person practices, so we do. Okay, great. I just want to make sure. Paul's in charge of the meditation program. I was thinking, Paul, you take notes now. But it looks like people are practicing. That's great. And do you find that that's helpful? Yeah, I find. So when I'm in the middle of those situations where a part of me has been triggered, I almost always first fall back on, we have a slogan of like watching our mind or dropping our mind or just breathing. So what's wonderful about meditation and the techniques we have, you don't need many tools. we mostly, for the practice we're going to do for Tonglen, we have our breath, and that's wonderful. It's always with us, hopefully. And so, and then hopefully you have the opportunity to have a person that drives you a little crazy so that you can have that as your focus. And it makes it very rich if you have several different situations that are driving you a little crazy. So right now, I won't mention the elephant in the room, but obviously we're all going through, I would say, a bit of uncertainty and fear. And not just, I don't think I've ever been in this place before with how our country is, what's going on. And so this is a wonderful time to do practices like this. So be it for, you can do this practice for one person, for a family, a group, a city, a neighborhood, a country, the world, the universe. This is a type of practice that is, you customize it for you. So I think maybe we'll start with that more than anything. I'm gonna see if anything else on my notes. Let's see. Another thing that's important is why to be so respectful of other people, and why, when they're really rude to you, to not offend them too much, is because we deeply believe that everyone we meet, so all of you, have been my parents in a past lifetime. To make it even more to the heart, all of you have been my mother in a past lifetime, maybe millions of times. Everyone you meet has been your mother. Every person you meet. So when I'm working late night at the hospital, as someone who I have no idea is walking down a hall, I make sure to say hi to them. I want to connect, because this could be someone who, I mean, hopefully they're an OSU employee late at night, but you never know who's walking down the hall. And so I think it's very important wherever you go, even if you don't talk to them, in your heart, to meet them and greet them and to respect them. Because of whatever they did for you, you're now here. Because of everything you did for me, thank you everyone, I'm here now. And you are where you are. And we must also be very grateful to everyone we meet. Be grateful particularly to those people that challenge us. Because like I said, if you're not challenged, then you don't know where you are on your Buddha, becoming a Buddha. You don't know where you are on that scale. So I really thought about some conversations that were in our car this week. And I was disturbed by a few things, because I rather agreed with a few things that weren't so kind. So the first thing we often can do is do a confession. Just not get on your hands and knees and all that. Just quietly confess in front of him. Imagine all the Buddhas are there, that may I have more tolerance. May my view of what's going on be much wider, much more compassionate. So we have a lot of tools. But let's get down to the main one today, which is the Tonglen. And I'm gonna, now, Pema Chodron, who's written many books, has Starting Where You Are, and others, really goes into this deeply. Lhamo Cathy, our resident teacher, this is her specialty. So I'm hoping this year we could get her to teach a weekend course or something. She just is brilliant. And she uses, I don't know if she does a lot of telephone work. I don't know if everyone knows that. But she uses this book a lot with everyone. And I think she's trained a great deal of us on this. So this is a wonderful book called The Great Path of Awakening. And it's full of slogans and kind of a plan on how to develop these qualities. And in there, they teach what I'm going to teach right now, called Tonglen. So I'm going to talk about the technique, and then we'll get position. So Tonglen, another word for it, Tonglen is a Tibetan word, and it means sending and receiving. So what we're going to be doing here is kind of the opposite of how you were trained when you were young. We're going to send people everything they need from us, and we're going to take on everything they don't need, take on their suffering. We will not be suffering, because It has no inherent existence. But this is really for us more than anything else to do the practice. This practice will soften your heart. And I'm going to go and repeat things many times so that you get the technique. You can do this sitting down, laying down. I'd rather you not do it behind the wheel of a car. But it's, and you can be I want you to be really comfortable with this. So I think I'll read what I wrote last night because it was pretty clear. So you breathe in the wish to remove or relieve others' various types of sufferings. This can be in the world, as I mentioned, the country, the city, a group. And this will not hurt you. It's only thinking. So you breathe in the wish to remove anything that someone doesn't need, and you breathe out what they need, be it love, health, comfort, food, security, a home to live in, a country that's safe for them. So this is how we just do it back and forth. So I'm going to use the gong to kind of set the tone a little bit. Are there any questions about this? It's a pretty simple practice, and I'll repeat it several times. So get nice and comfortable, just kind of squirm around a little bit. Okay. So first, I'd like us just in the beginning just to breathe for a moment. Just breathe. Relax your belly. Try and sit somewhat straight. Have a gentle smile on your face. Your eyes can be closed or open. Let's do it and keep going. Let's just see how long we can hear the gong. So before you begin, I want you to think of someone that is very positive in your life. Be it someone from work, at home, even someone maybe you've never met but has influenced you positively. So we're going to start with someone that we really like. Let's begin. First, I want you to breathe in any of their suffering. You might not even know what it is. Just breathe it in, and then keep breathing. And then when you're ready, send from your heart to them anything they need. It could be love, health, joy, healing. Let's continue. Breathe in their suffering, their discomfort. And then from you, send them whatever they need. And you can decide what that is. And now, if you wish, you can switch to another person or stay with the same person. Let's continue. Breathe in. Breathe out your strengths, your joy, your love. Breathe in the other person's suffering. Breathe out what they need. Just relax. Go at your own pace. Now let's expand the visualization. You don't have to visualize anything, it's more of a feeling. Let's think of this room. Oh, and if anyone is uncomfortable with this, you can just breathe naturally on your own. and not do the practice. Some people are afraid they're taking on something which is not true. It's just an exercise. Most of us don't have the power to take on other people's suffering. This is a mental exercise, an exercise of the heart to start thinking of others. So let's think of everyone in the room. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now begin. Breathe in whatever the group needs. Breathe out all of your strength and your love and your appreciation. Breathe in their suffering. Breathe out your comfort. Some people in this room may be grieving. Breathe in their grief. Breathe out your love. Some people may be suffering from physical ailments. Breathe in that suffering. Breathe out healing, comfort, patience for that, acceptance. Breathe in pain. Breathe out love. Now just relax. And because our country is in a state of flux, of uncertainty, you can think of a whole country. Maybe let's think of the whole world. Look at the globe, the whole planet. Breathe in uncertainty. Breathe out care and love and respect and honor. And you can just rest in that or keep doing the breath. I think the easiest thing is just to say it once in your mind and then just breathe. There's other categories of people in our lives that are harder to invite to this table. So next we move to people that were more neutral. People, your associates at work, maybe your neighbors. So think of them. Breathe in their pain, whatever's wrong, and breathe out certainty, the answers, love. I forgot a very important category. I remember learning, if any of you have pets, let's work on our pets right now. So, and if you don't have pets, think of the neighborhood pets that you'd like to adopt that you won't. So breathe in anything they need, and breathe out whatever they need. Breathe in their pain, their fear, and send them your love and comfort. Okay, so that's just a little bit of the exercise. So the final one is where you deal with people that are really painful, but I don't think we really should do that today. Are there any questions before we go on? Oh, I'm sorry, what? Could you, do you mind to step to the, I'm so sorry, I can't hear you.
My name is Tanya. Good morning. I am dealing with someone difficult this week, and I have great compassion for this person. However, I'm finding it hard to not be a part of my own suffering with my feelings being hurt. So I recognize that I'm doing that to myself, and so I'm working really hard on that this week. But I think when your feelings are really hurt, you have to like dive really deep in that. So that, I guess I'm not so much like, I'm more of asking like the question, what can you do to surpass those feelings of, because this is kind of a business situation, but it's also a friendship situation. So it's kind of like dealing with both aspects of that.
So it's a great example of how complex our relationships are, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. So I think the most important thing, this might be too close to the bone for you. So I think just whenever you think of that person, just have a positive thought, but you don't have to go too deep yet because you're dealing with so much. You're not just dealing with what's that person, and this is a good example for all of us. When it's something that's so close, sometimes it's too hard to just dive into this. I would just think of them in a positive light. Maybe sometimes I have you can make up all kinds of things. I tend to have an exercise where I thank them mentally for teaching me something about myself and hoping that their situation gets better. But it doesn't have to be too deep. But also that you heal.
Right.
So I didn't include us in this, but you could have visualized yourself here in front of yourself, taking on your own suffering. Some people, it's too hard to do this practice. Some people use their hands, So anyway, so I think that's what I would do right now.
Okay, because I was thinking, because I have been practicing whether I should just let it go. And that's where I'm kind of at. I'm feeling like maybe, but I'm wrestling with, do I just let it go? I was talking to my husband, and my husband's like, maybe have a conversation. I'm like, I'm right in the middle of, I think maybe I'm just gonna let it go.
Letting go of the feelings or of the friendship or what?
No, like the feelings, just
Yes.
That's
kind of what this practice does. We breathe it out. We're giving it away. So I think that's probably the best attitude of all.
Okay, thank you.
But always try and have an underlying theme of kindness under it all. Because I know for me, it's so easy to blame people. Oh, I'm unhappy because of this person. I'm unhappy because of the climate in the room. I'm unhappy because of this and that. So in order to let go of it, just make sure you're just not ignoring it. But to also have the theme of compassion. Because this person obviously is also suffering, right? But you're suffering. So it makes it very complex. That's why I didn't teach one too much with difficult people directly, because it's hard. Yeah. But I think I like that step of letting go of maybe your expectations.
Yeah.
I have a lot of expectations, so that's a good one to let go of. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Hi.
So I have a question. Is there a difference between Tonglen and like Chen Rezik? Is one supposed to just be, because I thought that Tonglen we were purifying too, like we were breathing in like.
Wait, I didn't hear that last sentence.
I thought we were purifying too, like we were envisioning whatever samsara, the person, subject that's in our mind, we're bringing that in, that negative afflictive energy, purifying it, and then exchanging that energy back out as love and compassion and whatever that we would want them to have for ourselves. is that different than Tonglen?
So Chenrezig practice, for those that might not be aware, we do a variety of practices here. We do meditation practice of following our breath, but we also do practices where we visualize, is Chenrezig right over here? We visualize a deity of compassion basically enters into us and awakens the compassion within us. And so that practice is really on kind of a real mystical level of deeply diving into our compassionate nature. Tonglen is also dealing with that. And in fact, some of the practices in Chenrezig are very good for this situation because we have the 7-branch prayer and other prayers in there. But in that practice, it's more directly dealing with your Buddha nature, your true nature. This practice is just a little different, more dealing directly with people and circumstances.
Okay.
So Chenrezig, we might include everyone in the world in the visualization in Chenrezig. You can do that. I like doing that. And they are also benefiting from all that you're doing, but it's
Okay.
not so one-on-one.
I see. All right. Okay. Because they seem really similar to me, and I wasn't
There is a similar theme.
distinguishing. And so, I guess my other question is: there an energy aspect to this? So, do we envision with Tonglen, we're bringing in the negative, afflictive? Because I thought we envision it as like dark negative. We fill it up,
You can
we purify,
envision,
it turns into orange, and then we send it back out. Is that?
You can, if you wish to use colors, I kind of just gave an overview, Tonglen. The deeper practices with whatever is wrong with a person, you envision it as black smoke that enters into you and then just dissipates.
Okay.
And then you can send all goodness, love, and light as white smoke if
Okay.
you're a visual person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's very helpful for some
Yeah,
people.
I guess the one I was referring to is more tantric.
I don't know
'cause it
about the
got some
orange
energy.
smoke, though.
Okay, well, it's like orange energy.
But
It's more
there's so
tantric.
many different versions of Tonglen.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't want to take up too much time, but thank you so much.
Oh, of course. Thank
yeah.
you.
Yep.
Anyone else? Oh, hi.
Hi, Lhamo, Cathy. How are you?
Good to see you.
Nice to see you too. I heard about what Tanya was saying, and I was looking at the page 17, the book you have.
7-0?
No, 1-7.
1-7.
They have the begin the sequence of taking with you. I thought that was kind of interesting.
It says begin the sequence of taking with you. You want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay. Let me go back to see what this section is, because this book is broken into different sections, and it drives me crazy. Another thing things drive me crazy. It's part of my language, but I tend to mark books so I know what the sections are. So this section is section 2, the actual practice of training to become a bodhisattva. And you asked about, it says, in order to be able to take on the suffering of others, begin the sequence of taking with yourself. Right now, take on mentally all the suffering that will ripen for you in your future. When that has been cleared away, take up the suffering of others. I'm sorry, we didn't do that today, but I think that's kind of advanced.
Oh, okay.
Because let's go over it again. Right now, take on mentally all the suffering that will ripen for you in the future. I think that's a good Lama Cathy question.
Okay. Oh,
Basically, it's on all the karma
I
that will
was-
ripen for you. But
I was thinking like if I have a trouble doing tunneling for others, so maybe I need to start with myself to kind of.
that's a good point. Some people, so maybe first, when you do the practice, you should think about your suffering
Right.
and any suffering that's really close to the bone in your life. And if it's within you, I would do that, take that on. But here today, I'm just talking kind of about difficult people. Of course, I'm a difficult person, so I guess
Okay.
we're also dealing with how to take it on for ourselves, right? But I'm sorry, I didn't answer that very well.
Oh no, that's.
But I'm
that's
not sure.
fine.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Okay, thank you.
And this book has just excellent instructions. So we have just about 10 minutes left. There was another part. So was that comfortable for people, or was that uncomfortable doing that exercise that we were doing, the breathing? Were people able to do it? Yes, Tim. I found it very refreshing. Refreshing, okay, thank you. So I remember working with His Eminence Situ Rinpoche, and one year for a Mahamudra program, he had us do something similar to this, where we had to keep changing our scope, going from, this and just keep going out. And it really I really liked that, instead of always thinking just one person. For years, because I'm a person of such fieriness and anger sometimes, especially when I was really younger, I always had maybe 2, 3, I had a lineup of people. But now that I'm older, I don't have such a big lineup, thank God. But I found that it helped me to relax the broader I went, sort of thinking of the whole world instead of just myself and my little world, my little compartment. Does that make sense? I totally went off the rails there, sorry. But thank you. Refreshing, I like that. Perfect for a summer day. Okay, we just have a few more minutes. So I hope that you're able to embrace this. I would highly recommend this book. It comes in 2 different covers depending on what year you buy. You can also, of course, get it on Kindle. I'm not making any money on this, but you can get it. It's a very wonderful book. And I just recently saw an interview with the author of the book, the translator, I should say, Ken MacLeod, and he said, some teacher asked him, he said the early version, he was just learning how to translate, and then over time he got better and better. So I think this is a really good version of the book. So I wanted to read, of course, I love when you put a bookmark in a book and it falls right out when you walk in the door. Mama Cathy and I talked about this a little bit, her strategies for me, because I don't like to teach things that she teaches. But in this section on developing bodhicitta, there are what's called the special practices. And I thought I would read on one that I really liked. I'm trying to find it. This is it. Work with whatever you encounter immediately. So many times when we have these mental things going on with other people, we kind of squirrel it away somewhere. But if you're able to, it's very nice to immediately see, oh, I'm labeling this person as difficult, when in reality, the difficulty isn't with me, not that person. It's how I'm interpreting it. So it says, when illness, interruptions, disturbing emotions, difficult people come unexpectedly, if you see someone else troubled by something unpleasant, think, I shall just practice taking and sending for other people. So I think it's really important constantly to think, you're not the only one suffering here in the room. Everyone's going through something, particularly now. I've never seen so many people, so many of my patients talk about their worries and their concerns. And I can't go out there and do as much things as I like to do, but a bodhisattva is a spiritual warrior, and I feel takes a lot of courage to do this type of practice. And I think we need that right now. So I offer all of your merit. I thank all of you for being here today. And I hope that you learn these practices and not be afraid to listen, to be curious, and to pray for other people instead of always ourselves. So let's just do the final prayers. On the second page, it says dedication of merit. Let's say it all in English. By this merit, may all attain omniscience, may it defeat the enemy wrongdoing. From the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, from the ocean of samsara, may I free all beings. The courageous Manjushri, who knows everything as it is, Samantabhadra, who also knows in the same way, and all the bodhisattvas that I may follow in their path. I completely dedicate all this virtue. So thank you. I hope you enjoy the beautiful day that we're having. And and so just to remind everyone, I'm sure you were reminded earlier, this weekend we have a very rare treat of my teacher's nephew, Lama Karma Jodol, will be here reading a transmission. And you don't have to do anything but just sit here. You can lay down in the back if you have to. I've seen people do it that way. He's going to read the life story in Tibetan at a rip-snorting rate because he has to read the whole thing over the whole weekend. It's probably going to be an 8 to 9 hour read broken into sections. We're going to do it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I have to tell you, this is considered a very special book to have. If you have it in English or in Tibetan, bring it just to get the blessings of him doing this. So it's called a reading transmission, or a lung. Lung means wind, and it's very special. So I hope that we see you then. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great weekend.